Hello, I'm back again. This is the first build video in the NX-01 Enterprise, although actually I'm going to be building mine as the Refit. And what I've done is I have gone through the paint chart. I bought the paints that I could find at my hobby shop. Couldn't find any of the aircraft colors. But I realized that I have the Royal Light Gray from Tamiya. I used it on my 2500 Scale Enterprise TUS version, so I can use that for this ship. And of course, I also have found the brighter blues, brighter red, and green, of course, already have it. Titanium gold because it's a duller gold. I'm going to show you. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Actually, I'm going to bring the camera down a bit so you can see more. There, that's better. Okay, so for instance, I will use the Royal Light Gray for the refit hull, which will be different from the metallic silver it would be for the Columbia, and would be different again from the lightest gold I could find, the champagne gold, which I'm going to use for the Enterprise NX-01 main hull. But of course, there are some parts that you have to detail paint. So for instance, one second here. Let's see, titanium gold, section E. So the deflector dish, for instance, which of course I've already primed all the parts yesterday. So here are the two deflector dishes. So the smaller one, the one that's more an oval and that's less square at each end, that's for the Enterprise. That one's for the Columbia. So I can see that I'm going to have to, when I paint them, I'm going to have to paint this side. I primed this side because it had the numbers, and I realize now I'm going to have to paint the other surface. But that's good because then I'll have the proper color scheme. The titanium gold is not as bright as regular gold, but it is brighter than the champagne gold. The champagne gold is so close to a brownish silver that is what I'm going to end up using for the main Enterprise hull. And if you look at the color of the sprue tree when it wasn't, because this side was not primed, that's almost the same shade. That is so close to the same shade, it's incredible. So that's perfect. And of course, I have already primed the hull. There's the top. There's the bottom. So I did the proper sides on those two. And of course, I've primed all the parts that are needed for the refit hull. So I can see that this is the deflector dish. So when I paint again, I'm going to have to paint the deflector dish from this side. And those brass antenna mounts and everything, I will paint them on both sides. Don't want to paint them by hand because you get too much paint on them. It wouldn't look good. And of course, the white primer on the clear parts. I can see I'm probably going to have to do the other side, but with the refit, you don't need to use those clear parts in the refit, because as you can see, the refit, which is in step 3, the refit has these parts, part 43, part 44. And if I look carefully, I will see that there's only one of each, so they only go on one side of the nacelle. It seems. Which is a bit strange to me. But they only go on the outer part of the nacelles. I guess the innermost part would still have the engine color on the inside. So I'll have to work on that. But anyway, that's the guide, and those are the parts. I mean, they have specific layouts for the Refit. They don't have anything for the Columbia, but the only difference between the Enterprise and the Columbia is a deflector dish and a different hull. But I do have a third kit I can build as Columbia. Quite a lot of parts you have to put inside the saucer before you even assemble the saucer. Clear parts outlined with a white circle, regular parts with a black circle with white writing. And it's only when the instructions diverge between NX-01 and Refit that you have to pay attention to what version you're building. Same with this. Refit has the Refit has the Bassard collectors that have the antenna in them. And they also have those parts that cover up a section of the nacelle. I guess it's the outer part. Yeah, it replaces this part. So it replaces part 108. I would guess. It's strange that there's only two of them, though. Because it says on the instruction guide that 43 and 44 look different, but unless you're looking at it from this angle. Oh, I see. It's the outer part. I get it now. So that outer section only goes on one part of the nacelle, the outer part. Okay, well, that's good. Got that sorted out. And I primed all the parts, all the little parts, all the big parts. And of course, as you can see, here's a step 5 specific for the Refit only. With all the parts that make up the secondary hull. And a deflector dish, of course. That's how you put the Refit on the stand. Now the decals I received, they have NX-09 in name. They have ISS Avenger there, so you could build that. But you could also build the Columbia. There you go. NX-02 Columbia, that's perfect. And you see these decals here? These stripes with the name in the center? That was what would go on the outside of the nacelles. And you've probably seen this already. But I do have the decals. Unintentional rhyme, but there you go. Anyway, these are the light ones, which I'm going to use for the Refit. And then the darker ones, I'm going to use for the NX-01 itself. And let's see. And I did order from Federation Models. When I do the actual regular Refit, you do have the red nacelle dome. And of course you have the standard stand and everything. I've already put everything in proper Ziploc bags. So that's good. That's good for that. So the NX-01 should turn out, NX-01 Refit should turn out quite well. And I'll be able to start building it as soon as the Excelsior is finished. I still have some decals to do on the Excelsior, and I got the Federation Models extra stripes today and the extra HDA Modelworks Aztec decals. So now I can build the NX class as well. So that's about all for now, and I will be back with the next video once I've done enough to create one. Talk to y'all later and have a good day.